Hello, I'm Sally Bourner. I'm the local policing unit commander for the borough of Solihull. You can probably tell from the wonderful, glorious sunshine shining down that it's summertime. It's actually July 2013. And for those of you who are regular connoisseurs of my video, you might recognise where I am. I'm at the Bluebell Community Garden right in the heart of Chelmsley Wood. The last time we were here was in January when it was freezing cold. The garden is really starting to flourish and epitomises a strong community where people in the community is growing and doing amazing things. Today in my message I'm going to focus on protecting and helping people. I'm going to give you a number of different examples about the range of police work that we all do to keep people safe and particularly protect vulnerable people from harm. Just this weekend, for example, an elderly lady, a lady called Marjorie, she's 75 years of age, she's very confused. She went missing on Sunday and we were really worried for her and for her safety. Massive team effort from colleagues at Solihull Police and the local community, and thankfully we found Marjorie safe and well, and on a regular basis colleagues are called to help families and help communities look for vulnerable people who've gone missing. Secondly, I was reading my emails this morning and I was delighted to receive a letter from a gentleman whose elderly and recently widowed mother had recently fallen over in Chelmsley Wood and had banged her head. And I'm going to read you what this gentleman said, and he entitles it "A Great Example of Compassion." My recently widowed mother had a fall whilst out shopping in Chelmsley Wood at the weekend. She banged her head, causing a black eye and a cut, and hurt her ribs. She refused hospital treatment. However, the first person at the scene was one of our police community support officers, Ian Carr, who works on the Chelmsley Wood neighbourhood team. He looked after my mother and assisted with the shop security staff with first aid. He displayed great compassion in reassuring my mother. He tried to arrange for family assistance, but both my brother and I were abroad. He then made inquiries about help from neighbours. He escorted my mother home, made sure she was okay, and visited a neighbour to inform her. My mother cannot speak highly enough of Ian's help and attitude. She was very impressed indeed, and her son says, "I'm very grateful for his actions and support and felt that you ought to know." Again, one of so many examples on a daily basis of colleagues helping people in their time of need. Last week, I went to the annual Local Safeguarding Children's Board conference. And at that conference, a number of partners from different organisations, particularly in Solihull Council, working in social care, third sector and voluntary sector organisations, all working together to protect children from harm. And our focus throughout the conference was on the really destructive impact that domestic violence has on children within families. And nothing could be more powerful than the story that I'm going to share with you now, which a woman who had suffered domestic violence describes her life and how particularly colleagues at Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid helped her and her children turn their lives around. It's really powerful stuff, and if I also just share with you that each year our research indicates that anything up to 4,000 women in our borough experience domestic abuse. We're absolutely committed to protecting people, but we know that sometimes people will not ring us on many occasions, and sometimes they will experience anything upwards to 35 incidents of domestic violence before they contact the police, which is why our partners are so crucial. Colleagues in health, colleagues working in the third sector, and organisations who are supporting vulnerable people. So I'm going to finish by sharing with you Vicky's story, which epitomises why we, the police, and our partners play such a key role in protecting people from harm. My name is Vicky. I'm a 29-year-old mother of 6 beautiful children. Today, I write this as a confident, happy, independent woman. 12 months ago, I was a statistic, an unhappy, battered and broken woman with no way out. To be alive does not mean you are living. I was just surviving. Imagine the lump that rises in your throat when you hear his key in the door, wondering what he will hit you for today. A black eye and 3 broken ribs later, you decide enough is enough. You pack a bag and you are leaving. Then you realise you have 6 children and nowhere to go, and he will find you anyway. So you stay and hope tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow he might not beat me. If I'm lucky, he will just tell me that I'm fat, ugly, worthless, a bad mother. He will tell me I belong in the gutter and the world would be a better place if I just killed myself. And I'll believe him. Saturday is my brother's birthday and he's invited me out. I'm so scared to ask if I can go, so I wait for the right moment when he seems in a pleasant mood. I'm surprised when he says, "It's fine, you deserve a night out." I realise it was too good to be true when Saturday arrives and I go to my wardrobe to find all of my clothes have been cut up, my makeup flushed down the toilet, and the plug has been cut off my hair straighteners. I call my brother and tell him I'm not feeling well and can't make it. The truth is just too embarrassing. For 9 years that was my life, and I know you may well wonder why. You cannot fathom why someone would choose to live like that. So I'd like to explain. When you're not only being physically beaten, because let's face it, the bruises will fade, but the mental abuse that eats away at you means you don't have the strength to make a choice. He makes them for you. I will fast forward to the day I will never forget. I walked away from my home, my life. I left barefooted with my 6 children, just the clothes on our backs, and with no idea where we would sleep that night or the nights that followed. I can assure you that I would have gone back, but I didn't, thanks to an organisation called Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid. Let me first say that putting a roof over our heads didn't even scratch the surface of what they've done for us. My children have a new lease of life. They realise now that the life they were living was not right, not the life they should have had. They laugh again. I've slept safely in my bed since February 2011, and I have not looked back since. Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid made me realise that I didn't walk away with nothing. I may have left a home, I may not have a home to call my own, or the possessions I'd spent a life gathering, but everything that meant anything to me came with me when I left. My children. My name is Vicky, and it's been 6 months since I last sat in front of a mirror trying to conceal a black eye. Me and my children are not statistics. We are real people who need real help. Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid kept us safe. They taught me it wasn't my fault. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have had the strength to write this. I felt too guilty. Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid took away the guilt and pain. They gave me my life back. We're leaving the refuge soon, moving to a home of our own and making a fresh start. I'm not looking back, I am moving forward. But without Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid, this story could have had an entirely different ending. I can never thank them enough, and I hope they continue to get the support they need in order to help. No, to save other families like mine. Vicky's story speaks for itself. Vicky and her children are not statistics. They are real people who at their time of need needed real help. Vicky and her children can now look forward to the future with optimism and hope. And here at Solihull Police and across West Midlands Police, we are absolutely dedicated to protecting people from harm, bringing offenders to justice. And we do that not on our own. We do that with our partners in other organisations who do amazing work. Thanks for watching today. Together we can protect and help vulnerable people in our communities. Thank you.